Upside down.
God be with you.
Did you notice anything suspicious this past hour?
One of the sick men has been throwing up constantly, and I suspect another one's faking it to skip work.
No, I need to know if anyone's been nosing around our room.
I spent most of my time with the vomiting one, or out in the yard scrubbing his bedding. I didn't see anyone.
Someone went through our room, or rather tossed it all about. Likely looking for something.
And what about the alchemy lab? Was that turned over too?
No. I think that one's untouched.
Oh, thank God. I'll go check it anyway, just to be sure. Was anything stolen?
That's the thing. Nothing was taken, so we don't even know what they were after.
I should have been more watchful, right? I'm sorry. I promise I'll keep a better eye on things from now on.
Don't beat yourself up. It's not your fault. I think I know.
Is that so?
God be with you.
Did you see anyone go in or out of our room?
I'm not sure. I think I saw a monk go in. I couldn't say who.
A monk? You mean Benedict?
No, it wasn't him. But hard to say. Damn it, why do they all look the same in here?
It's not exactly helpful, I know. Any idea when that was?
Roughly an hour ago? Maybe 2. Has something happened?
Damn it. Never mind. Better if you ask Zacharias.
Lord have mercy.
I spoke with Benedict and Dennis. Neither noticed a thing.
I thought as much. We've all had our hands full here, so we still know nothing.
I might have something, but I'm not sure yet how it ties to those records.
What do you mean?
I went down to the crypt, and I found open tombs and rotting corpses.
Good God!
No sign of a mass grave, though. Just individual tombs.
That's both good and bad news. At least we can now rule out the plague. But if the workers caught something from the air around those tombs, then anyone else could catch it too. Why did they even open them?
They were probably looking for something inside. I found this sketch.
That looks like the emblem of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. But why would they look for it among deceased abbots? Even putting aside that it's sacrilege, I don't see the connection.
Nor do I. But there must be one, because they locked me in the crypt over it.
What?
He was the workers' foreman. He kept going on about some Bavor. He must have thought I'd found whatever they were after. I tried explaining I hadn't the faintest idea what he meant, but he went completely mad. In the end, he came at me.
And?
Well, I had to defend myself. God rest his soul.
I'm at my wit's end. Under normal circumstances, I'd report it, but maybe we'd better keep all this to ourselves. For now, at least. That Bavor fellow, the name means nothing to me, but I'd suggest mentioning it to Librarian Crispin. With luck, he'll find something in the archives that sheds some light on how it all connects to those open tombs. But best do it tomorrow. This evening's been more than enough. One adventure a day is plenty.
Agreed. Let's clear up the room, then sleep.
We'll be wiser come morning.
It's ours. You stop that, for Christ! Mother of God. For fuck's sake.
Good morning, everyone. I trust you've had a decent sleep. The sick are waiting, and being tired doesn't excuse us from our duties.
All right, give me a moment. Then we'll go and check on the patients. And where's Benedict, anyway?
If I may, gentlemen. Haven't you heard? There was a fire here last night.
A fire? Here at the monastery?
The small shed by the mill house burned down, but it was probably just an unfortunate accident. Thank the Lord it's all over now.
And no one was hurt?
Well, that's the thing. No one burned, but there were 2 men in the shed. Or rather, 2 bodies.
Bodies? Whose were they, for God's sake?
That... I don't know, sir.
Who found them? And how did he get them out?
Elijah, one of the lay brothers. He ran into the flames thinking he could save them, but they were already dead.
And what was he doing outside in the middle of the night? You don't suppose he had something to do with it?
He's never been any trouble. There's no reason to suspect him.
And how do you know they didn't die in the flames? Just because they weren't burnt to cinders doesn't prove anything.
I didn't see them, but they said there were no burns, and it didn't look like they'd suffocated either.
So, how did they end up there? What killed them? Didn't anyone tell you about them?
They were sent to be washed, but the washers noticed, signs.
How do you know about these signs? Did someone examine them?
No, they were only to be washed, but when the signs of illness were spotted, the abbot ordered them locked away in the hops store. Ludolf promised he'd send one of his men to guard the door. No one is to go near them.
That was highly irresponsible. Someone needs to examine them thoroughly. We can't afford uncertainty.
You want to bring them to the infirmary with the others? No. No, let them stay locked away somewhere separate.
Are you afraid the other sick might get even worse? At least we could have them all in one place.
Was anyone else there besides Elijah?
No, or at least no one I know of. I'll leave you to it now. If you need me, I'll be with the sick.
I'm going too. Disease? Fire? What next? A swarm of locusts?
First they ransacked my room, now this. I don't like it one bit.
Do you think the fire's got anything to do with what they were after in your chambers?
Who knows? I feel like someone wants us gone, and they're trying to frighten us into leaving.
All the more reason to get to the bottom of this.
But I can hardly go poking around myself to find out what really happened.
Don't worry. That's what I'm here for.
Well, maybe Zacharias was right after all. You never know when an aid like that might come in handy. So, what's your plan?
Quite a few things, actually. I'll take a look around the burned-down shed. There might still be some clues.
Good idea. It might have just been an accident, but it won't hurt to make sure.
I should probably speak with the lay brother who pulled the bodies out of the flames.
Elijah, right? But be gentle. No one should have to go through what he did last night.
What about the corpses? You said you wanted to examine them.
And that's what I'll do. We can't afford doubts when there's a deadly illness spreading.
But Benedict said the abbot forbade it, and that one of the knights is watching over them.
If he's got any sense at all, he'll understand this is serious. A proper diagnosis is key to the next step.
Someone searched our room just a while ago. And who knows what they'd do if they caught you wandering around alone. I won't have that on my conscience. Better you stay here, and I'll sort it somehow.
So what you're saying is, use an unorthodox approach.
Well, I'm no physician like you, but I've learnt a lot about the illness. I could say I'm your apprentice.
That won't be enough.
Then I'll explain to him the same way you did to me. We need to examine them and find out what was wrong with them, or we'll never get anywhere with treatment.
That's probably best. But you must examine them thoroughly. And don't be repulsed.
So, what exactly should I be looking for?
Anything unusual. You know well the symptoms the sick here have, but a keen eye may spot other signs too. If you're not sure, just try to remember what you saw. If you describe it to me later, I should be able to identify it.
I can't think of anything else.
Nor can I. Well then, best of luck.
You'd best move along.
Can I...
Of course.
Thanks.
No problem.
Go on, get! No one's allowed in.
Why not? Is it because of the bodies?
Damn, so you've heard too. They told me not to speak about it with anyone. They wanted them buried quickly so they can rest in peace. But until then, no one's allowed near.
Is that dog yours?
No, but I can't get rid of the bloody thing. I tried to kick it, but the mangy beast is fast on its feet. Maybe I'll get lucky next time.
If you lay a hand on that dog, I'll have you.
What's it to you? He should be given a hiding and then tossed over the wall. It doesn't belong here.
Really? And what would St. Francis of Assisi say to that? He preached to animals before people listened. He said they're our brothers and sisters. You go against the word of a saint?
Well, maybe I went a bit far.
So whose is it, if it's not yours?
I'm not sure. Maybe its master is inside. It's been hanging around all morning.
Maybe it's just hungry. It might leave you alone if you tossed it some food.
I'm not sharing with that mutt. I'd rather stuff my ears.
Master Albic sent me. He asked me to examine the bodies before they're buried.
Examine them? What for?
It's possible they were murdered.
Why would someone kill them? The only one anywhere near them was Elijah, and he wouldn't hurt a fly.
But they were already dead when he carried them out, weren't they? Why would someone torch the shed unless they were trying to cover something up?
Why would anyone commit murder in a closed monastery?
We won't know unless you let me find out. So?
All right then, but be quick, eh? I don't want any trouble. Shoo, you flea bag!
Dogs aren't allowed here. What's it doing here?
Now you're not getting anything. Bugger off!
Right then. Where to begin? I'll start with the younger one. Muscle stiff, but the body looks supple. What's that in his hair? Ugh. Better mind my fingers. Rigor mortis is wearing off. He can't have been dead more than a few hours. He vomited up his guts before he died. Just like that old confessor. It's all clumped together. Looks like flour, or maybe lime. Yeah, it's flour. Ugh. Bruising, some dried blood, but no broken bones. Those bruises are odd. Regular. Almost perfectly circular. Looks like cupping marks. Someone might have tried to ease a fever or pain. He's young, but his hands are a mess. Covered in scars, nails broken, looks like hard labour. And 2 workers did go missing. That can't be a coincidence. I don't see anything odd here. Ribs intact, belly soft. No sign of violent death. Just his back and hips are badly scraped. No blood. Like he was dragged over gravel after he died. A few old scars. Gravel embedded in both knees. And, blood around the groin. Barely dried. Could it have leaked out after death? Mixed with bowel contents. Bloody diarrhea. Like with the infection. Now for the older one. Pale. Sunken eyes. Missing some teeth, though that might just be age. But that hole in his head is someone's doing. Small, round, clean, like it was drilled. I've heard of that method before, used in cases of unbearable headache or seizures. But who'd try that outside the infirmary? Completely stiff. Ugh. Clenched tight. Like he was ready for a fight. Rigor mortis well advanced. Died long before the fire. Skin's badly scratched. And there's a thorn stuck here. Maybe a rose? Stiff as a board. But no broken bones. Back and shoulders all scratched up. Like he was dragged through brambles. And around his neck and chest he's got red blotches on the skin. Those blotches look familiar. They're a bit like the ones on that old confessor. Looks like this poor wretch caught the same thing. Knees are scraped and scarred. He must have worked hard in his life. Well, what's clear is they didn't die in that burning hut. More likely they succumbed to the infection spreading in the monastery. The symptoms match perfectly. Either way, it wasn't a cold-blooded murder. Someone tried to treat them, brutally, but still. And it didn't work. Someone must have hauled the bodies into that shed. And it left marks on them. It might be possible to trace where they came from.
Now you're not getting anything. Bugger off. Why do you keep sniffing about? Go on, get! Shoo, you flea bag! Why do you keep sniffing about? Go on, get! What? Eh? I'm not here for laughs. I'm...
Not much left of the shed. Elijah had more luck than sense. Where did this wine come from? A torch? Damn, this wasn't an accident. Someone torched the shed to cover their tracks. At least this grill is here. Rough cloth, badly charred, and bits of leather. Probably used as knee protection for work. Oil. It burns like the devil. No wonder there's barely anything left of the shed. Overturned sacks, soaked ground, so that's why the dead man had flour in his hair. That's one deep rut. Whoever dragged them, the poor wretches gave him a rough time. Whoa, that's disgusting. But there's no other way. A cart and rose bushes. If he dragged them through the ditch, no wonder they were in such a state. Wheel tracks, headed that way towards the gate. Something's jammed in the lock. There's no way I can pick it. Locked, damn it. This way won't work. I'll have to find another route. It's hopeless. I can't get it open. The tracks are clear. That cart was bloody heavy. The cart tracks lead to the herbalists. Maybe Joachim knows more. Poor beast. Who did this to you? What in damnation is going on there?
You said they were better. Were you lying or just that stupid?
They took a turn for the worse. It came out of nowhere, and there was no saving them.
And those books I got for you. You've half the monastery's library in here. Did you even bother looking at them?
I read every one, but I told you 100 times, I am not a physician. I don't know what you all expected from me.
You were supposed to use your head, damn it. Now everyone and their dog is sniffing around here.
I couldn't just...
I thought I made myself clear. They stay here, you don't leave, and nobody must know a thing.
But what was I supposed to do? Your master...
Provided you with everything you needed and paid you generously. Or am I wrong? What about that fire? Were you just covering your ass, or planning to rat on us too?
They were infected. For the sake of everyone in the monastery, I did what had to be done.
Doing what has to be done. For everyone's sake. Dennis! Pray for a quick death, you bastard!
Did you?
He's gone. Hold on. I'll fetch help.
Don't trouble yourself, son. But please, stay.
No. No, I'll run for Albie.
Pray with me. The Lord will soon welcome me.
All right. But I need to ask you something first.
Yes?
Why did you set the shed alight? Were you trying to get rid of the bodies?
Get rid of them? No. But should they rot under my roof? I only hoped the fire would consume them. And that'd be the end of it.
Did you try to treat those poor souls yourself?
I did my best. On the orders of Master Zacharias, I tried everything, even against their will. But either the sickness had advanced too far, or I simply lacked the knowledge.
All right. And now the prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven.
Oh, Christ above. Go with God. Amen. Nah, it's hopeless. I can't get it open.
chasing down rain again.
I'm investigating the source of that illness that's been spreading around here, and I could use your learned knowledge.
I'm listening.
I came across a rather peculiar name, Boleslav Bavor. Does that ring a bell? Are there any records on him, perhaps?
Boleslav Bavor? I know that name. Long ago, just after taking my vows, I briefly looked into his legacy. There was some connection to the monastery crypt, if I recall.
Really? Because I actually came across it in the crypt.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, I ran into some laborers down there. From what I gathered, they were trying to rob some of the graves, and they were looking for Bavor, or something connected to him.
By Christ, they were after the relic.
What are you talking about? What relic?
There's a possibility that Bavor was buried here along with a certain relic. That's what got me interested back then.
What exactly did you discover back then?
Not much. That's why I soon gave it up. Aside from the travel records of Sir Bavor, there wasn't any further mention of anything that might be connected. In the end, I concluded that the whole tale of the relic was likely just Bavor's own fabrication.
But why would the workers suddenly be looking for it now? How could they have found out?
It's certainly a strange coincidence. Then again, there are all sorts of lies and half-truths circulating out there about our monastery, unfortunately. Especially tales of long-sealed treasures and hidden cellars full of silver. If even a sliver of it were true...
It makes sense. They heard something about Jerusalem and Bavor, and when the opportunity came, they simply tried their luck.
That's probably most likely. At least until we find a better explanation. Either way, we must report it to the abbot without delay. Robbing the dead is disgraceful.
You're right. The abbot ought to be told, but it's probably not wise to burden him with it now. Right now, we need to deal with the illness. Once things have settled down, we can make sure those thieves get what they deserve. Besides, we've got almost no proof yet. If I manage to investigate the matter of Bavor more thoroughly, I might stumble on something.
Still, it's a serious thing. We mustn't wait too long.
Of course. Once I've gathered the evidence, I'll explain everything to the abbot straight away. And now I'd like to take a proper look at Bavor's travel records.
Of course. Give me a few moments. I'll find them for you. And I believe Bavor's name also appeared in some old accounts. I'll try to track those down too. Here you go. Bavor's travel records about his journey through the Holy Land. And I've also found these old accounts. Feel free to study them too. I'm curious myself what conclusion you'll come to, if any.
It really says here that he acquired a holy relic. Let's see how it continues. According to the journal, Bavor had himself buried here with his holy treasure. That sounds pretty clear. Let's see what the accounts say. So Bavor gave the monastery a generous donation and paid for a chapel mural painting. And still, despite all the records and
are you
mentions,
still so enamored
Crispin
with
had
Lord
his
Bavor?
doubts. Why? I read the journal. A lovely tale. It really brought the Holy Land to life.
And?
And it says the relic Bavor acquired was a splinter from the true cross of Christ.
Holy Virgin! Such a sacred treasure!
And according to the book, Sir Boleslav was to be buried with the relic in the monastery crypt.
So it says in the book. I also found my old notes and remembered how it all went back then. I too searched for Bavor's grave. I even dared venture into the crypt, but despite all my efforts, I never found it.
How is that even possible? A grave can't just disappear.
Quite frankly, I don't know. And I didn't know then either. Once I was convinced none of the graves belonged to Bavor, I laid the matter before the abbot, but not our Father Jan. This was over 20 years ago when Abbot Vitus held office. May the Lord grant him eternal peace. Together we came to the conclusion that Bavor's tale was likely at least partly, perhaps entirely, made up.
Why would it be made up? Surely Sir Boleslav wouldn't lie about something so serious.
The book's one thing, but there's not a single other mention anywhere. The grave's missing, the relic's nowhere to be found. Can you think of another explanation, then?
The account books mention that Bavor had a sarcophagus made at his own expense.
That's possible. Does it mean anything?
If he paid for it himself, there had to be a reason. Masonry work like that is no small matter, and it's odd, isn't it? He sorted it all out in detail with the monastery to have his tomb here. Then he wasn't even buried here.
You're right. I never made that connection before.
And then there's the relic. If Bavor had just wanted to raise his reputation with a good story, why claim to have gained something so rare?
Perhaps out of vanity? There's no shortage of that among the nobility.
But his tale's already heroic enough without it. Making up a relic would only draw unwanted attention.
That's a good point. It'd be too risky.
But why would Bavor do that? What would he gain by deceiving everyone here?
If memory serves, he had some disputes over property. Maybe he wanted to improve his reputation.
Well, that's mentioned in the text. But lies wouldn't have helped him. Quite the opposite, if he'd been found out.
You'd be surprised how short-sighted some folk can be. But I agree, something about it doesn't sit right.
And what about the mural mentioned in the accounts? Does it really exist?
Yes, it's in one of the chapel naves. It depicts several scenes from Bavor's alleged adventures.
Well, then that proves Bavor's story wasn't just made up. Surely the abbot back then wouldn't have approved such a mural in the main church if he hadn't believed it was true.
If the former abbot believed Bavor wasn't a liar, but a real hero of the Holy Land, I'll believe him too.
All the more reason I want to see it for myself.
No harm in trying. At the very least, it's a fine piece of work.
Bavor mentions in his journal that he received a great fortune from the King of Cyprus, and the account records say he gave a generous donation to the monastery. Do you think that was made up too?
They confirm at best that Bavor had wealth, not where it came from. According to the late Abbot Vitus, he might have gained that fortune by plundering or as spoils of war, and the tale of the Holy Land was just a cover to mask the dishonorable origin of his riches.
Well, I've never been to the Holy Land, but I've seen plenty of wrongdoings, even here in Bohemia. And if Bavor really wanted to cover up how he got his coin, he could have built a village, built a fortress, or who knows, bought up a mine. He could have done any number of smarter things than spinning a tale about a heroic journey halfway across the world, don't you think?
I'm no expert in fraud, but yes, he chose a rather complicated cover-up if that's what it was.
Don't you think this whole thing is a bit too complicated? Every explanation for why Bavor would lie seems more convoluted than just acknowledging it's true.
Listening to you now, it's like hearing my younger self. And I sound exactly like Abbot Vitus. His view was that Bavor's story was fiction. He told me I'd be better off letting it go.
What exactly did he say?
That I should stop chasing old crusaders and focus on real, meaningful work.
Vitus isn't here anymore. So we can pick up where you left off. And maybe we'll finally unravel Bavor's mystery together.
If that relic really does exist, and it surfaced now, it'd surely be a sign from the Lord, a sign of hope in these desperate times.
Don't get ahead of yourself. We've not even found Bavor's tomb. Without it, we're stuck. I'll return to the crypt and see if the workers left any trace.
I might have missed something myself back then. Take this and study it closely. It's a drawing of Bavor's family coat of arms I came across years ago. According to this, you'll know if it's truly the grave of Sir Boleslav. Yes, the mural in the chapel, paid for by Bavor himself, also bears his coat of arms.
Those workers, if they really were after Bavor, they only had a drawing of the Jerusalem cross. But if he was buried under his family crest, no wonder they opened the wrong graves.
Yes, that could be it. Study that sketch well so you won't make the same mistake.
Thank you. I'll head off at once.
Just be careful, please. You know the abbot's orders, the disease, all this misfortune.
Don't worry. I'll be careful.
And in the crypt, show respect to the eternal rest of those buried there, especially now with death haunting the monastery.
I heard something.
What's it like down there?
What do you think? Filth, damp, and stale air.
And those murdered workers? Any sign?
No. None beside the ones we already found.
Christ, our Lord be with us. How could such a thing happen? And in the house of the Lord, no less.
How should I know? As if it weren't enough that people are dying of plague. Now we've got a killer stalking the place.
Then mind yourself down there. I don't fancy reporting more losses to Master Ludolf.
Of course I will. I can't wait for all this to be over, so we can get the hell out.
If someone really is skulking about and killing folk, it'll land on our heads either way.
Crozier and mitre. That'll be an abbot's tomb. Abbot Vitus. Crispin mentioned him. Let's hope he forgives us for digging into Bavor's story again. Abbot Uldericus. But no sign of Bavor. This must have been some knight. There's a cross above his head, but a rose in the crest. And I'm looking for an arrow. Oh. Good thing I've got the hood. Sarcophagus of a nobleman. Disturbed by those workers. Most likely because of the large cross. But Bavor ought to be buried under an arrow crest. This wall at the back looks odd. And this looks like the tomb of some past abbot. Maybe even Heinrich. Nice. Looks more like an abbot's tomb from the carving. Good thing. I'll be shifting that rubble for days on my own. This one's rather worn down, but I think I can make out the abbot's symbol. Bavor's crest. So it's true. Bloody hell. God have mercy on your soul. Looks like this one was shadowing me in the crypt. But how the hell did he get into the monastery? Look at that. Bavor's crest. This must be it.
By St. Mark the Evangelist, this relic's making my head split.
Brother Crispin?
Henry, I searched through the archives again to see if I might still find something on Bavor, but so far nothing. And your search in the crypt? Did you dare go down there?
I dared, and I found a walled-off secret chamber.
What? I'd never heard of such a thing. Even Abbot Vitus never said a word about it.
It was walled up. There must have been a reason for that. but at least it explains why you couldn't find Bavor's sarcophagus all those years ago.
Well, at least now I don't feel quite so foolish. But if there was a sarcophagus, was there also, you know?
No. I was hoping, but I don't think it's that simple. There's a sarcophagus with Bavor's crest, but Bavor isn't the one lying in it.
What? You?
I had to know. Judging by the robes, I'd say it's an abbot or some other high-ranking cleric.
Good Lord, that's truly strange.
And do you know what's even stranger? I think someone was watching me down there.
Watching? Who? Did you see anyone?
He was some armed fellow, but definitely not one of Ludolf's men.
Holy Virgin, an armed stranger in the monastery? How could that even happen?
I've no idea. But it certainly doesn't help my peace of mind. We'll need to stay on our guard until this whole mess is sorted. I can take care of myself, but you be careful. Best keep yourself locked in here.
For Christ's sake. Very well, I'll do as you say. You take the key. I won't let anyone else in.
The sooner we get to the bottom of this business with Bavor, the better.
So, you're saying you found a sarcophagus with Bavor's crest, but not Bavor himself?
Exactly. I have no idea what to do next. I was kind of hoping you might come up with an explanation. That chamber looked untouched for years.
Explanations do come to mind, but they're purely speculation. It's possible Bavor was never buried here at all. Or perhaps his grave was moved.
What do you mean, not buried here? Everything points to it.
Until we find the body, we can't be certain. The travel records, the accounts, all point to the intent, but not its fulfillment.
There was his coat of arms on the bottom of the sarcophagus.
Yes, which would support my second theory that his remains were moved.
But why would anyone move him? Isn't that against God's will or something?
There are reasons for it. They're internal matters of the monastery. I shouldn't be discussing them with a layman.
Oh, come on, Crispin. We're searching for Bavor together. Surely you could make an exception. Just forget for a moment I'm not a monk like you, and tell me what you know. Please.
Oh, very well. Since you're so insistent, to be laid to rest in the monastery crypt near the altar is the best one can hope for the soul of the departed. Normally such places are reserved for abbots, but this privilege can be granted to others in rare cases.
That would explain why Bavor might be buried there, but not why he isn't.
I'm getting to that. A place of such honor may be given for great deeds, or a truly generous donation. But if the person has been dead for a long time, and has no surviving kin to speak for him, then it's possible the body may be moved, to make way for a deceased abbot, or a potential new benefactor.
I see. And I understand that's not an easy thing for you to speak about.
Thank you. Still, the deceased isn't simply tossed aside. He's respectfully moved to another resting place, just not as prestigious.
Right. But that brings us back to the question. So where could they have moved Bavor to?
Most likely to the consecrated field next to the monastery, or the graveyard by the infirmary church of St. Cosmas and Damian.
Hang on. That consecrated field is enormous. I'd be searching for weeks, and I can't even get in there now. Better to scout the infirmary church first.
God be with you, Henry. I hope you managed to find Bavor at last.
I saw that mural of Bavor you spoke of, and I think I noticed something slightly unusual.
Ah? Really? What was it?
That Bavor crest. In the mural, it's shown differently from your sketch. Seems to be the elevated version, as mentioned in the travel records, with the inner escutcheon. And on it is the Jerusalem cross. There's also an angel. And Bavor had himself depicted holding the relic. It looked to me like Bavor had the layout made very deliberately.
I must have missed that. Or perhaps I've simply forgotten. But you're right, it does sound rather deliberate.
Indeed. But I still don't know what to make of it.
Bavor clearly put a great deal of thought into his burial. That depiction isn't just a coincidence or some artist's fancy. It was Bavor's intention, and there's certainly a hidden meaning in it.
I'll ponder it on my way to the infirmary graveyard.